Urban Music Analysis, and I'm Candy It Is. Here at the Urban Music Analysis, we look at the different aspects of the different genres of urban contemporary music. Back in July, I was able to attend the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, where several local and independent artists from Brooklyn and all over New York performed. I was blessed with the opportunity of interviewing a gentleman by the name of Billy Conahan, who won the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival's Show and Prove contest.
Queens!
One, two, check.
Billy, tell me where you're from.
I'm from Astoria, Queens, New York.
And how long have you been rapping?
I've been an MC professionally for about 2 years, 2-3 years now, and I've been writing for about 4 or 5.
What are a few of the names of the projects you've worked on in the past?
The first thing I did, like writing and being a rapper, was On a New York Morning. It was a single produced by Drew Davis, Baron of Red Clay, a Fort Greene native. And On a New York Morning was inspired by the Occupy Wall Street movements that were happening majorly at the time, probably 2011. September 2011. There was a lot of social injustice that was going on, so that really caught my attention. I felt we were being lied to a lot more and becoming more aware of the truth, and it was just being ignored by the mainstream, and people were just in denial. So I felt like I had to do something about it, and we approached Drew about making a beat, and he showed me this one, and I said, that one, we're gonna do that. So I did that, and then that in turn became like the pilot of episode 1, which is the first mixtape available on Dad Piff and Bandcamp, and that was just whatever I had written that needed to be out and about and be given to the people. And that was in October 2012. And then in March of this year, 2013, I released episode 2, Smoke, which was more of a full-bodied experience, and drew more from my ever-growing spiritualism.
We'll see, life will change, but this game is on. We'll see that I am not so easily disposed.
I honestly wouldn't know how to describe my sound. I think I'm trying to speak from the soul to the soul, and not just, from the eyes. Just not like a... I don't want to be a surface rapper, really. I want something deeper. So I'm trying to create that sound, that ethereal sound. I'm going for an ethereal sound, something eternal, something internal.
And what genres do you lend upon other than, hip-hop music in your music?
The first thing I was ever inspired by, I was a huge Elvis fan. Loved rock and roll. Love rock and roll still. I mean, probably the best. And then there's blues. The Blues Brothers is like one of my favorite musicals, if not my favorite musical. Is it a musical? You can't even consider it a musical. Blues Brothers is amazing. Blues is great. I got really into folk music and singer-songwriting stuff. I like that. Storytelling, folk music, country, not country, it's more of a bluegrass, and I just like that real raw emotion that comes with with the music from those genres. And then, you know, you have the funk, you got James Brown, and the music side of things. Yeah, disco. I mean, that stuff is great. Motown, that was great stuff.
Okay.
Classical too. I love classical music.
What are some of the venues in New York that you've performed for?
I was originally a stand-up comedian. That's how I took the stage. So I performed on a lot of stages, probably a lot of bigger stages as a stand-up comedian. Comedy Store in La Jolla and Hollywood, Comedy Magic Club in Orange County, like a whole bunch of shows like that. As a rapper, as an MC, I did Highline Ballroom. I got to open for Mike Stud. I got to do 2 songs. That was awesome. That was the biggest crowd I played. Sullivan Hall. Man, we've done a whole bunch of gigs in the past few months, and they're all really, really dope. Lucky Jack's, this bar in the Lower East Side, was really the turning point in terms of confidence and just how I felt. I felt what it was to be a front man for a band, and that really set it off.
Give it up one time, Queens and Zone. Billy! All right. Yeah. So can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. I am not leaving yet. Can I kick it? Well, of course I can. The trail speakers in the bleachers know that where I am. My trail damage MCs, they be feeling the pain. Every mic may be different, I be killing them the same. I'm a rise to the rhythm of the beat, no breaks. What would be attractive and had no bass? Try not to laugh in they faces. Experience the glitch in the walls of the Matrix. Trying to have me a Lucille Ball, enough money to sit back in a Royce Lou Rolls. What? KOP, we the kings of the planet. The type of rappers that paint a picture, never touch a canvas. I'm a man, and goddamn I can articulate. Souls on the line, so can someone please reciprocate. Throw your hands high when I spit, and let these people know what I do is legit. Now can I kick it? Yes you can! Can I kick it? Yes you can! Can I kick it? Yes you can! It's your Philly! It's your Philly! It's your Philly! It's your Philly! I speak with velocity, perfect verbal atrocities. Fakers think I'm a novelty, now son I'm a prodigy, commonly known. Roman heads like lobotomies, I return from the Odyssey. There's no one as hot as me, you gotta be Odyssey. Quality assured is preferred if your words ain't real like Scientology. Back to the prime time, prime specialist. Ask him how he makes this look so goddamn effortless. On the card, what's the cog of the globe? It's skyrocketing the gold till my pockets are filled in my wallet. Hold a pen like I hold a grudge. Countless nights at the Roxbury still getting no love. Over 6 pages of one, none of it. I'm walking over grooves like it's nothing, bitch, and I'm loving it. My CD is so hot when it drops and you go to cop, bring a pair of rubbing it. Kings of the living in a world full of differences. Do you ever stop to find out what that difference is? Nah. Are you ever interested? You can walk 1,000 miles, never see the pyramids. Gonna give it all I got, cause is it enough? But right now, I'm looking for a bigger cut. You see my people, all they want is a bigger cup. We all thought 20 was the age we'd be living up. So I hope you hear this and you speak of us. Like those L's, turn your speakers up. I'm gonna blow, it's a matter of days. And it's a shame that the game is a matter of plays. Don't become obsession when you can't have it. Wake up one morning and find it nothing but a bad habit. My talent, goddamn it, I gotta use it. Others would kill and others will try to do this once in a lifetime. But do they understand? They ain't living life the same way I'm living mine. Yeah, and I'm prone to defy all the doubts. Didn't drop at a pussy to just lie on a couch. Dropped out of school cause I sat and I slouched. Never let it get in the way of my education. The fear that I face is that the money I make will cause me to break. But fuck it, take it all, make it count like we'll see. Life will change, but this game is so. We'll see that I am not so easily disposed. We'll see. Life will change, but this game is so. We'll see that I am not so easily. She enveloped me, his got blue eyes and flight accessories, a midsummer's night, and we exchange pleasantries. Mental telepathy. What could a message be had not asked her why she had lied of her identity over the boom back set, humming the melodies. We kick back and chat over some memories. I'm not the type to get hyped around celebrities. If sexy was a crime, then it's time be a felony. I wish it next to me, though it is yet to be. The only time I see her is the illusion of a memory. Try to transpose her code to no avail. At times I get so desperate that I cage her in a brain cell. We drink water from the same well, and every time I hear her name, it puts me in a spell. Thank you, ladies.
You on his mind, ladies, you on his mind. You on his mind.
I got one more for you. I gotta represent
The Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. Alright. So, honestly, you would have to ask Song how that happened. We put in a Sonic bid as a, right? Is that right? We put in a Sonic bid submission for the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival Show and Prove contest, which took 12 artists, up-and-coming artists, and put them, you know, head-to-head pretty much in 3 different showcases, 4. And it was a contest in which whoever rocked the crowd, you know, the hardest, got chosen. And then one was chosen from each night into the finals. And I won the finals, which was absolutely absurd. I got to go against 3 people that I had known before that, Con Boogie and Undeniable, Q and Sin. All great people. They're all very good people. Great MCs as well. And yeah, we got to put on a show in Brooklyn, representing Queens in Brooklyn. And I won. I got the phone call while I'm at work the next day, stocking coffee. Yeah, we get to open the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival tomorrow. So that's how I got into the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. I won the Show and Prove contest. And it came at a lucky time because I had been having serious doubts about doing this, being an MC, and this whole hip-hop thing. It became a, I don't want to say a burden, because it wasn't that, it was just, it was intimidating. It was very intimidating entering a field of people who've been doing it for years, people who are brand new but are, you know, just naturally skilled at rapping and rhyming and writing. So I was having a lot of doubt about it. And then the show happened in April. The first round happened in April, right after my birthday. So that was big. It was a big turnaround for me.
So were you intimidated that day by any of the other artists that were performing?
In April or at the finals?
At the finals.
It wasn't even, at that point it wasn't a competition anymore. It was more of the fact that we knew that stage was going to be destroyed. We knew. It was just, you know, a question of, yeah, who gets to perform in 2 days, but there was no question as to whether or not that was going to be a good show. So I don't think, I wasn't nervous about that. I was more nervous about the first one, because I had no idea what I was getting myself into and who anybody was. And I've been the underdog since, you know, day one, so that was intimidating, the first one.
Okay. Where can we find more of your music?
BillyConahan.com. BillyConahan.com, on Bandcamp, DatPiff, SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's all under the same name. I have these bracelets. You could snap a photo of it later or something. Yeah, it's all under the same name. My government. And yeah, please check out. The music is free. You know, the merchandise, we got to make something. But the music is absolutely free, and that's what I really want to push. Bandcamp is the place to go for that. DatPiff as well, but Bandcamp, good stuff.
Okay.
So I was saying earlier that I was having these doubts, and then 2 days before the show and proof final, I had a dream, and my mom came to me in that dream, and she told me to just do it. Forget everything, just do it. So this one is for my family, those I love, for New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island. Just gotta live your dream. You gotta do it. Yeah. Tell the people. Peace to my kinfolk, I'm hoping that they hear this. Coping with that real, trying to be the realest. Hoping that you feel it. Wonder what I deal with. I wonder what it's like to sign a deal for $1 million. This is for the children, those without tuition, wishing parents gave support for their decisions, giving everything they've got to be gifted. The mission's impossible, but we ain't about to give in. So dig into yourself and you will find what is missing. Gotta make a killing if you wanna make a living. Parts of you, parts of me, a part of the tradition. So pardon my convictions, my human conditions. A lot of good men die trying to be the villain. Many good women do the same to be appealing. Word to the wise, don't rely on opinions, cause even if they like you, it might only be the image. The well-spoken never speak unless we listen. By my own admission, I've been on a mission. Though I am a rapper, it ain't just my position. I must justify living with all of my juxtapositions. It's like we never knew our limits. Long time coming, days and hours to minutes. So if the song ain't bumping when the second is finished, it's only business. Queen takes Bishop. Peace and love, y'all. Yeah.
What's that funny smell? I hate to suggest this, but my guess would be marijuana.
Yo, the blood rushes, pen touches the papyrus, hand clutching my nuts, world around me unraveling. A little bit of thought is what I dabble in. So if you just tuned in, I bet you're thinking that I'm babbling. But go ahead and brood if it really matters, and show up on election day. Turn your ballot in and saddle up the horses, fortify the fortress before we catch you when you sleep like the armed forces. So salvage what you can from the wreckage, from the sands of the desert, and get slammed in a second. Just gotta piss, roll a split, then split, sit, spit, and record records for copies on the discs. I know the whole world is after this, so keep watching the throne if you think that's where the master sits. I'll live my life as I imagine it. But you blow so hard, I wouldn't trust it to keep a candle lit. I burn MCs, my CDs come with bandages. Bill Clinton on the mic, so scandalous. New York City all the way to Los Angeles. One time for your mind, yo, I'm out of this. Rome wasn't built in a day, now was it? Rome wasn't built in a day, ha ha. Rome wasn't built in a day, now was it? Rome wasn't built in a day. Check it out. Now Rome wasn't built in a day, now was it? On the track. Rome wasn't built in a day. Young on the board. Rome wasn't built in a day, now was it? Rome wasn't built in a day. Work it out. Now the smoke Billy Conahan. Smoke, 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 smoke.
During the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, local and independent artists mentioned Trayvon Martin on their sets. Preceding the Hip Hop Festival, the verdict was read. Okay, so I want to touch base a little bit more on the whole Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman trial. On June 13th, the verdict for the trial was read, and it caused a lot of rupture in the urban communities throughout the nation. One of the things that, was brought to my attention and may have been brought to your attention as well is Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton being accused of reverse racism. What are your thoughts on that exactly?
I think that that's laughable. In our communities, we have to be mindful of some of the stuff that African Americans go through, in a sense, right? So now, like I don't agree with everything that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton says and does, but they are at the forefront of a lot of these issues. So to call them reverse racist or things like that, one of the things that Al Sharpton did, I think last weekend, was with the mayoral candidates. He had all of the mayoral candidates sleep at one of the New York City housing facilities. Pretty much, the mayoral candidates slept in the projects overnight. I think it was Lincoln Houses in Harlem. And, they were sleeping with a tenant there. And, there was mold coming down, the elevators weren't working. And I think, one of the candidates had to, walk up the stairs, so, a whole lot of flight of stairs. So pretty much Al Sharpton wanted the mayoral candidates to experience what a lot of these, a lot of people, predominantly African Americans, experience within the projects on a daily basis, right? So to say that they're racist or reverse racism, why don't you experience some of the things that we as African Americans experience on a daily basis? So they are at the forefront, and I applaud them for that. Some of the things that they can do can definitely be tailored, and there's politics within it. But at the end of the day, they do represent the large African American community as a whole. So I definitely applaud them for that.
Okay. Also, several artists have, stepped up to the forefront to, take a stand on the whole stand your ground law in Florida. Some, to name a few, are, Justin Timberlake, Stevie Wonder,
and Mary, the gospel group, I think Kanye West, and a lot of artists.
And Beyonce and Jay-Z, they've also been spotted at, one of the rallies as well with the family. We were mentioning earlier that, sometimes artists need to take, some type of responsibility for some of these issues. So how do you think these artists actually taking those steps have been received?
I think, prior to, our last conversation, we were speaking about, what should artists do, right?
Yes.
Now, I've placed a lot of emphasis on elected officials and things of that sort. Now, the artists, entertainers, their role, the way that they can help out is by, standing their ground and saying that, we're not going to perform in Florida until the stand your ground laws are abolished there, right? So that's a statement, and then that's, something within their power and their right that they can do, and that's, a huge statement. And at the end of the day, I believe that can benefit the community, right? And I think, last weekend, Jay-Z and Beyonce were with the parents of Trayvon Martin, and I think it was a rally in New York City or something along those lines, showing their presence, showing their support. Now what that does is, for the people in the community, the Tatas, they can see, oh wow, you know what, Jay-Z and Beyonce are, standing up and,
for a cause.
Standing up for a cause. And I recall when I was in high school, there was a problem with, I guess, the teachers, and there was an issue with teachers wanting a larger salary, or I forget the whole rally purpose. But all I can remember was I was 17 years old, and I saw Wyclef, I saw Jay-Z, I saw all of these artists, and I think Wyclef got arrested that day or something that or whatever, right? But I saw all of these artists standing up, protesting with us. Now that encouraged me to say, wow, you know what, if Jay-Z could stand up and if Wyclef could get arrested for the cause, then you know what, I should be active as well. And actually, since that day, that's what kind of helped me to become more active in my community. So those are ways in which artists could really give back into the community.
Yeah, definitely, because I know lots of little kids, if JC says it,
exactly,
I'm going to do it. You know what I'm going to do? So that's definitely a positive. Something else that I want to touch base on is there are several rappers right now that kind of built their, notoriety off of violence. One to name that, is, most relevant at the moment is Chief Keef. Now, it's really weird because then you have a lot of artists like Kanye West and then you have Jay-Z that kind of like give him like, how would I say, probably like, you know, a pass. It's like, you know, this kid is good because they mention him. He has mentions on Jay-Z's records. And, you know, Kanye, Pusha T, and a lot of other artists have, you know, jumped on this Chief Keef song, you know, in prior years. So it's like, do you feel that sometimes that these artists do regress? Like they kind of forget, okay, yeah, I'm here for this cause, but then I'm, you know, glorifying something else in another time. You know, how can they kind of like not contradict themselves so much?
Well, yeah, artists contradict themselves all the time, right? But one, you know, you have to understand. Well, I understand that they're artists. You know, they're there to make money. They're there to make a living, and you know, they're there to sell. So if they're saying, you know, it's an analytics game and it's a numbers game. So if I know that my audience will respond to me saying twerk, you know, F this, F that, F this, and F that, and if the sales are going up, then I'm going to continue to say that. Because if I say that, you know, I love Jesus Christ, I go to church every Sunday, and I'm a man of God, and I have a family, you know, that's probably not going to sell. Now, if there's such an outroar and an outrage of people who are offended by those lyrics, do you know what they should do? We should do is we should not buy those products, right? Because if we don't buy it, then the money and, you know, then the numbers are going to become low. Case in point, BET, which I have a lot of issues with BET, but then now I kind of understand BET to a degree. There was a really great show called Don't Sleep by T.J. Holmes. T.J. Holmes is a well-accredited journalist. He's from CNN. He left his job, a really great job at CNN, to start this positive agenda within BET, right? So, you know, he has the show called Don't Sleep where it's talking about African-American issues within, you know, America, you know, and then they had so many great speakers come, you know, Pastor A.R. Bernard from Christian Cultural Center, Jesse Jackson, and, you know, black journalists, you know, like, I was just in love with the show. The show got canceled in about, I think, a month or so. The reason why, because nobody was watching it.
Everyone's consuming, you know, reality TV.
Exactly.
And that's something that we're going to get on in a couple of weeks from now. We're going to be talking more about reality television and the role it plays also in the urban music sector in the present. So that's definitely a good topic to think about because right now, like you said, the shows of substance don't really get that much, you know, circulation anymore. It's more, we want to see drama, we want to see ratchet, so to speak, you know, television. So I don't know how we're gonna, you know, work our way out of that culture, but hopefully soon.